Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Thursday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Aina Kweo. In the news tonight, NAMRA Commissioner Sem Shivute this morning during the agency's Authorized Economic Operator Program said that the entity cannot make a success of this program. NAMRA is joined by the Southern African Custom Unions on this venture. AEO allows authorized economic traders to be assessed and approved by custom administrations as complying with the supply chain security standards. Elizabeth Joseph reports.
For us, all of us, to work together with the private sector, hold hands, because that which we would want to achieve to provide, to bring about improved service delivery, efficiency, reduced cost, streamlined custom clearance procedure cannot be achieved only if it's only one entity that is focused on the implementation of the program. Because when you get to the border, you have Namibia Economic Board, Meat Board, Ministry of Agriculture, Home Affairs. So all of us, we need to come together with our private sector, we hold hands, and we move in the same direction. Now that I've told you that we are very committed and serious about becoming a world-class revenue agency, and that's why we are adopting a number of these international best practices and custom modernization program. We are adopting them at a very higher speed. That's one, and that is a testimony that we are very committed to become a world-class revenue agency. I have briefly shared with you these wonderful benefits that we can get.
Southern African Custom Union Executive Secretary Thabo David Kasipe today stated that customs is a key node in the value chain of businesses in various industries. He advised business people in Namibia to take advantage of Authorized Economic Operator Program, which he said is aimed at ensuring that SACU becomes competitive. He made these remarks at a private sector engagement hosted by Namibia Revenue Agency. Let's have a look.
We basically invite the business community within Namibia to take advantage of this program. It is meant to ensure that we collectively as SACU become competitive. As SACU, our role is coordinators through the Secretariat. It is to build a region-wide AEO program by linking the various individual programs in the member states, because they are there now, as I've indicated. What we are now moving into going forward, based on a council decision in June last year, is to now start linking these programs into a single program, so that we will end up with a region-wide program with mutual recognition agreements signed between the various member states, so that you can know as a business that once accredited by NAMRA, I am automatically accredited in Eswatini. I'm automatically accredited in Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho. When you get there, once you have made your declaration this side, you get the same VIP treatment on the other side. So you see, this then becomes a tool towards enabling the building of regional value chains. Because once we then remove all the obstacles for intra-SACU trade, we then enable the SACU team to go to that tournament in Africa, the AFCFTA, and become competitive and come back with a trophy. Because if we can remove all these obstacles, we reduce your cost of operations, we make sure that you become competitive in terms of the price that you will offer, you become also competitive in terms of the quality. Because a lot of the time, quality is compromised by some of these interruptions that happen in your value chains, particularly the one at customs. So that is the next phase that we're looking at, ensuring that we build a region-wide sort of framework that will allow a mutual recognition across the region. We also are using digitization as a very key instrument to enable that to happen as seamlessly as possible, so that again, it really becomes geared towards the idea of making you in fact, even forget that there is a customs you have to deal with. Because once you have done the good work and you have demonstrated good track record in terms of compliance, you then are accredited and you enjoy the benefits, because again, it's us saying we are incentivizing good conduct. We are incentivizing compliant behavior.
The government has set aside a total of 124 million Namibian dollars for the Trade Ministry and the Namibia Investment and Development Board to fund activities that will attract investors for this financial year. Meanwhile, the draft Namibia Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill remains in limbo and is expected to be promoted later this year, according to Lucia Ipumbu, the Minister of Trade and Industrialization. The bill, which has been in the pipeline for about 3 years, was withdrawn in 2021 amid concerns that it is not aligned with its objectives, as well as critics saying the law could deter investment into the country. During her budget speech, Ipumbu said her ministry has allocated 4.1 million Namibian dollars for the investment promotion, as well as 138 million Namibian dollars for the trade promotion, and under this vote they have undertaken trade and investment missions to Luanda, Angola, Lusaka and Zambia, as well as signed bilateral agreements with African countries. In our next story, Deputy Mines and Energy Minister Cornelia Shilunga has told Parliament that Namibia is also busy exploring oil and gas on the Namibian continent shelf for the country to rely on its domestic energy supplies as it readies to become an oil-producing nation. She also said plans to finalize the new development plan for the Kudu gas field are underway, as well as efforts to ensure Namibia is prepared to participate meaningfully in this new industry and ensure it improves the country's economy. This announcement comes at the time when more than satisfactory deposits of oil was found off the coast of Namibia by Shell, Total Energies and Qatar, with NAMCO as the Namibian petroleum entity. While this is an exciting result, additional works needs to be conducted in form of currently the ongoing appraisal campaign. At the moment, for the next 6 to 8 months, the ministry, together with the joint venture, will be drilling up 4 wells in the Orange Basin to appraise these discoveries and establish commerciality, she said. Now, in our next story, government will have to fork out an additional 1.89 billion Namibian dollars in addition to the 1.87 billion Namibian dollars it has paid out to veterans of the liberation struggles in project funding, Defense Minister Frans Kapofi said during a budget motivation tabled in the National Assembly. Kapofi said the ministry was saddled with the huge backlog amid expectations that more veterans will apply to receive the funding of 170,000 Namibian dollars, he said. Although the ministry has thus far paid 11,035 individual veteran projects, there is still a huge backlog of 11,125 unfunded IVPs, which the number is likely to increase due to the fact that veterans who did not apply are starting to apply for IVPs, he said. Kapofi said 93% of the total budget of Vote 31 was utilized on activities mainly aimed at veteran welfare programs and keeping the history of the liberation struggle alive. Kapofi also informed the National Assembly that the construction activities for the Kasinga Shrine had been completed. I wish to inform this August House that the Kasinga Shrine project is completed and that it will be inaugurated this year, and you will be invited to the inauguration in due course, Kapofi said. Now, in our Story of the Day segment, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology hosted a digital transformation workshop. More on this when we return.
The Evening Review is a daily interview-based talk show that dissects and expounds on current affairs as they occur in Namibia. The show aims at reaching Namibians of all age groups who seek better understanding of the state of current affairs in the country. This show is broadcasted on NTV, OneUpTwo.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. The Evening Review focuses on interviews, latest news, and up-to-the-minute current events. Contact evening@synergy.com.na. Evening Review, unpacking today's pertinent issues.
In our story of the day, Trade Minister Lucia Ipumbu earlier today urged business people to replicate international business standards. She added industry actors, including ministry officials, to improve time delivery and service reliability in industrialization and trade, adding that safety and security of revenue collection should not be hindered in the process. Let's have a look.
When we look at the international arena, the increased global trade and the dynamics in the international supply chain have created new demands on the role of customs administrators as well as government agencies. We all want to focus on trade facilitation and make it easy for every operator to do business in a very conducive environment. In that environment, the business community must endeavor to move goods faster and at a reduced cost. And they must maintain their competitiveness. And that is what we need all to agree on, so that we make trade facilitation easier and simpler and faster. As we look forward, customs administrators and also government agencies, we must be expected by all our servants that we improve in terms of processing in our cargo. We must improve in terms of time delivery and specifically timelines that we must. Our service must be reliable, and we must have physical intervention that will bring in efficiency and speed. But as we're doing that, we must not compromise on the safety and security of revenue collection. As administrators also in the government agencies, we must foster the collaborative effect so that we have a partnership that is strong and is mutual, that benefits all of us and our stakeholders. It is pleasing to note that SACU has adopted and prioritized the implementation of the Authorized Economic Operator Program. And we are happy that you are part of this very important initiative. We want you to strengthen compliance, and that should be your role. And also, you must ensure that safety and security is observed at all times. And you must ensure that our supply chains are extended to the horizons of beyond the borders of this continent. And we also want you to address inefficiencies amongst customs and other government agencies. And when I say government agencies, I include the ministries, including ourselves. As we are gathered again this morning, I want us to focus on the voluntary accreditation program, which is designed by the World Customs Organization as a global standard used by custom administrations. We also want you, as the private sector, to strengthen your compliance, your safety, and security of supply chain, while also building mutual trust and partnership between government and the business and the private sector. The IEO status can be awarded to manufacturers, importers, exporters, brokers, carriers, consolidators, intermediaries, ports, airports, terminal operators, integrated operators, warehouses distribution, flight forwarders, and many other stakeholders. And countries can enter into mutual recognition agreements to confer the IEO status to qualifying businesses that are trading in their territories to ease entry into each other's market. Ladies and gentlemen, in SACU, the IEO is a flagship program for the Custom Modernization Program under the SACU trade. The SACU region is therefore implementing the IEO program in phases. The initial phase was focused on developing the tools and frameworks required for voluntary compliance program. To date, all SACU member states have established and implemented their respective IEO's compliance programs using the minimum standards and criteria developed at regional level.
After the break, we return with economic news. Stay with us.
NMH at 1 brings you news from all across Namibia. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact nmh1@synergy.com.na. NMH at 1, your lunchtime news companion.
In economic news this evening, the Bank of Namibia declared a 413.7 million Namibian dollar dividend to the government for the financial year 2022, coupled with a higher average interest rates during 2022. The bank's operating profit increased by 11.5% from 584.2 million Namibian dollars in 2021 to 651.2 million Namibian dollars in 2022. The reserves available for distribution increased year on year from 672.7 million Namibian dollars in 2021 to 772.6 million Namibian dollars in 2022. Now let's have a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18 Namibian dollars and 3 cents to the US and at 19 Namibian dollars 62 cents to the euro. It trades at 22 Namibian dollars 25 cents to the pound and 2 Namibian dollars 62 cents buys yuan Chinese yuan. Zinc is up by 2.2% and Brent crude oil is up by 0.88%, trading at $78.97 per barrel. Now, after the break, we return with our international news. Stay with us. Four bankers who allowed a friend of Vladimir Putin to deposit huge sums of Swiss banks have been found guilty of lacking due diligence. The former executives at the jury's branch of Russia's Gazprom Bank were given hefty fines for helping Russian musician Sergei Roldugin, nicknamed Putin's wallet. Now, Roldugin reportedly paid around $30 million between 2014 and 2016. He gave no credible explanation of where the money he had came from. Under Swiss law, banks are required to reject or close amounts if they have doubts about the account holder or the source of the money. Now, Putin's wallet is a godfather to President Putin's eldest daughter, Maria. The Russian elders has also awarded him Order of Alexander Nevsky, an Order of Merit given out by the Russian Federation. 3 of the convicted bankers are Russian and 1 is Swiss. They were given fines totaling 741,000 Swiss francs and suspended for 2 years. The men, who cannot be identified under Swiss reporting restrictions, said they would appeal against the Swiss court's decision. We return with the weather predictions for tomorrow shortly.
The Regional Review brings you news, views, and interviews from NMH correspondents from across the country. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact regional@synergy.com.na.
A sunny weather is expected in Enana at 3 degrees and rain is expected in Rakana also at 34 degrees. A partly cloudy sunny weather is expected along the coast with a high of 20 degrees in Falfish Bay and 20 degrees in Henties Bay. In our sports section tonight, Papua New Guinea had to chase 382 runs for a victory versus Namibia. More on that when we return. Papua New Guinea had to chase 382 runs for a victory versus Namibia yesterday, putting up a gallant performance despite the mammoth task. The visitors ended with 333 runs for the loss of all wickets in 46.2 overs, playing in front of other home fans. This was the Richelieu Eagles' first victory in the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifier playoff against PNG. In our next story, more than 1,100 learners from 11 Namibian schools as well as 3 schools from the South Africa and Zimbabwe will participate in the 9th edition of the Indongo Toyota Desert Sports Festival from the 29th of March to the 1st of April in Falfish Bay. After a disappointing announcement that his fight against Australia's Luke Boy was postponed due to a last-minute injury, Philippus Energy Ngitumbwa will now face an even tougher opponent as he heads to the Philippines to face John Real Casimero on the 13th of May. After the break, we return with highlights. Stay with us.
My.NA Property Show provides viewers with the best in-class content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest property-related products and services. If you would like to feature your brand or your campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Properties, more than just a roof over your head.
Here are the highlights from tonight's broadcast. NAMRA Commissioner Sam Shivute this morning during the agency authorized economic operator program said that the entity cannot make a success of this program. Southern African Customs Union Executive Secretary Thabo David Kapise today stated that customs is a key node in the value chain of businesses in various industries. Papua New Guinea had to chase 382 runs for the victory versus Namibia yesterday, putting up a gallant performance despite the mammoth task. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's broadcast. Please do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook on all NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, which is called OneUpTwo. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 as well as GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And this has been Sunset News. Please don't end your day without us. Good night.